Hi, everybody. This is Shannon with J&S King Family Farm. Welcome. Today's November 1st, and it is gorgeous. It was cool this morning. It was still above freezing, but now it's like 17 degrees Celsius. It's so warm. I just put a hoodie back on to sit here and talk to you because I just finished digging out this here. All I did was broad fork it. I didn't turn the soil. We don't like turning soil here if we don't have to. Pulled out some plant debris. I've put down, you can see this is called Hortonova netting, and I normally use this for netting my cut flowers, but it's really great for spacing garlic, and that's what's going here. This past season, I had snapdragons up at the front, and way down at the back, I had zinnias, and there was some auroch in here, or otherwise known as Atriplex. So it was all cut flowers. This year, we're putting garlic in. Now, garlic is an allium, and so it's in the same family as onions, leeks, scallions, and so we like to rotate that. We have started having issues here with leek moth, which is really unfortunate, and I don't think it's ever going away. So we deal with that here with BTK, which is a soil bacteria that we spray. It's natural. It works really, really well. And so today I'm cracking some garlic. It's not too late to plant. I don't think our ground's going to freeze for another month. I don't like planting it too early, because here's the problem. If you plant it too early, then it sprouts. And we don't want that to happen. So it's very bright here today, but if I put my sunglasses on, then I can't see the camera and I have no idea where I'm pointing. So I've taken them off so I can see, but now I'm kind of squinty. But anyway, so that's what's going on here. So I've dug this, I've amended it with a bit of compost. I've raked it fairly smooth, not as smooth as I would have bothered if I was going to run a seeder through here, but we're just going to crack garlic and we're going to push it into each one of these squares. It's a 6-inch spacing. That's what we like to use here. So we find that works really well. You can see in the previous video, it's been a while. I know it's been a really long time since I've done a video. I keep forgetting to bring out the camera, and then I think, well, you guys don't really want to see this, but you probably do. So this here, you can see there's some lettuce and there's like some red here. This is beets. Now that area was where we put the silage tarp in the spring, like we just gave up and we put the silage tarp. And I was actually able to purchase a tiller this year, 48-inch tiller for the tractor, and till up that area. We pulled back the silage tarp. All the weeds were dead. We tilled it up, built the beds. I was able to plant, get some crops out of it. So this is just crop residue now. There's like a chicken tractor there that needs some work. The wind, I haven't moved it. It's been there since Fiona. It's terrible. But the wind rolled it and ruined the tarp on it. So I need to move it for winter, and that's going to happen. I'm going to pull out all this plant debris, and then we've got some beds that we're working on. You see, I've still got pumpkins sitting here. This right here is really hard for me to, it's backwards. You can see the radishes that are left. There's beets. The radishes won't be any good. They'll be all woody and pithy, but the beets, they're not huge. They're about this big. They're enough to pickle. So I'm actually probably going to can those up because I really like the small beets. They're nice and tender. And so we'll can those up and store them for the winter for us to eat. And then what we're going to do is we've got the beds built, and we're going to run that silage tarp right back over top of the beds for the winter. And what that's going to do is allow us to get into this garden and start planting at the end of March, beginning of April, because you won't have the snow melting down into it and making the soil really, really wet. The beds will already be built, and we won't have to till anything or move anything and wreck our soil. So we'll be able to just swipe what's left of the snow. By the end of March, we tend to have just a skim left, and that silage tarp is actually going to cause it to melt down a little bit. We're just going to remove that, and then we'll be able to plant really early in the spring. But today, garlic. So we plant, we have a kitty sitting on the garlic here as well. We've been adopting a bunch of stray cats. We were up to 9, we're down to 5. And we've been taking care of them. So I think they're all kittens. I think they're left over from COVID. I'm not really sure. but they've appeared here. We've taken them in and we've been taking care of them. The kids love them. They've been doing really, really well with them. So the garlic that we prefer to grow here, this is some seed garlic. I mean, you can eat this. It's just what we save. We plant music. We've had the most success with music. I know it's extremely common, but it just does so well for us. So I don't really see the point in changing varieties. So we plant about 30 pounds, and 30 pounds is not going to fit in this bed. This bed's 85 feet. So I'm just going to plant what I can get in this bed, and then I'm going to move over to this side, and you can see that there's, see if you can see Luna here. Hey Luna. Hey babes. This is Luna. Luna's been really good to us. She's a sweet girl. She doesn't like being picked out, but she loves pets. So you can see that there's landscape fabric on this, and we are going to, eventually we're going to pull that back, broad fork the bed, and we're going to start coming this way from the far end. You can see, whoop, there we go. We're going to come from the far end, start planting the garlic, and I don't think it's going to fill this whole bed. So we're going to do that, and then as you can see right here beside, I still have some kale, and I'm going to harvest this, and I don't want to just pull it and toss it. So I'm going to harvest it, and then we're going to pull it. Now, if this was in our high tunnel, which is right beside me here, you could harvest off this kale with a little extra protection. The high tunnel, probably another round of hoops over top of it. You could harvest off it all winter. What will happen when the days start getting longer in the end of February, when we start hitting that 12 hours of daylight again, because we're down to about 9.5, 10 here. So the days, nothing's really growing. Everything's just kind of just static. It's holding. But the kale tastes so good because it's had a few frosts on it. So, but if you had it in the high tunnel and you had another row of hoops over top of it, you could probably actually harvest off it all winter until the days start getting longer. And then what's going to happen is when the days get longer, it's actually a biennial, and it's going to bolt. It's going to go run the seed. Now, if you wanted to save your own seeds, that's what you would do, is you would try and keep the plants over the winter and let it run to seed, and then you could save your own seeds off that. And we did seed save a bit this year, but we always save our garlic. And so garlic, this is a bulb, and then when we crack it apart, see, I've got to hold the camera. I got to figure out how to make this work a little better. This is a clove, and this, once you crack it apart, this is what you plant. Don't peel the paper off it. I mean, you can, it's not going to hurt it, but it's not necessary. So now I'm dropping things. So this is what you want to plant. And all we're going to do is put one clove per hole, and that's it. We're just going to push it in a couple inches, and then eventually what we're going to do, probably next week, I'm going to visit another farmer who has far more land than I do, and he has straw, and I buy bales off of him, and we're going to fluff up some straw over top of this. Straw bales, depends where you are. Here they run $3 to $5 a bale, and I probably only need 4 to do all of it. But I also like to peel the flakes of it individually, and I'm going to put them along here in the pathway. You can see the chickens. The chickens think that this is just for them, that I've dug this all, I've made it nice and smooth and it's perfect, and they think it's just for them. I got news for them. They don't dig up the garlic once I put it in, fortunately, but they kind of make a mess of the nets while I'm doing this, so I'll have to like shoo them out of here. I've got it fairly tight so it looks like it's laying down all right, but my garlic tends to look like this in the spring when it comes up, and it doesn't really stress me out that much, but it's because these guys move my nets while I'm planting. But I like having them out here. They clean up the garden a bit for me. They make this a little bit easier for me to maintain. They get rid of bugs and they pick up extra seeds and stuff like that. So we do have some debris and stuff going on, but the most important thing right now for us is to get this garlic in before the ground freezes. I can continue to pick up stuff and clean stuff and, you know, lift things once the ground's frozen, but I can't put the garlic in. So that's the thing this week. We're actually looking like, right past Remembrance Day, looking like nice warm days. Couple cool nights below freezing, not super cold. So this is what we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna turn the camera around. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna plant this. I'm gonna put some gloves on, and we'll get this done. and I'll show you really quickly, and then I gotta get my little girl off the bus, and then I gotta go make pizza dough for supper, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna plant the rest of it. So that's the plan for today. So I'm just gonna turn this camera around, right? And here you can see, isn't this kale gorgeous? Isn't it beautiful? It's just this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous green color. It's just fabulous. So you can see I've planted some garlic here. You can see, and then my net wasn't quite long enough to go right down the end there. So what I've done, as you can see, I've lined it back up over top of what I've already planted. And here's what we're going to do. One of the most relaxing things for me to do is to just, whoops, crack open some garlic here. So we're going to plant 30 pounds. I'm not going to crack all that today. I try to only crack what I'm going to plant within the day. It's best not to break it apart too early. So we're just going to pull apart probably about 10 pounds today. But this stuff looks real nice. So some of the cloves aren't huge, but that's okay. And then this is the central stem, right? You've got the roots here, and then this is the stem, and this is what would grow up the middle and have all the leaves and the scape at the end that you would cut. So, but we don't need that. So we get rid of that. Separate the cloves. See, that's a pretty small clove, but that's all right. It's not going to hurt anything. Sometimes these are, when they don't have a big stem on them, they're harder to get apart. Here we go. Yeah, that's a nice one. See, that's a good sized clove. That's going to make a nice bulb next year. And I don't mind having different sizes. Works out well for us. You know, some people like the really big bulbs. Some people want smaller ones. So we sell garlic by the pound anyways. So it doesn't really matter. But it depends what you're doing. If you're eating it just straight, then it doesn't really matter that it's, you know, not huge ones. If you're planting, you might want bigger ones to get bigger bulbs, but again, it's not necessary. So we're just gonna crack that apart. There we go, that's it. We're gonna set this up so you can see what I'm doing, and hopefully the camera doesn't fall over, because I'm not super good at this yet. There we go. Watch out, Luna. So I'm going to put my gloves on because I try to keep my hands fairly clean, and there's nothing like getting thistles on your fingers. So you can see I planted here, and this is the next row, and I need to smooth this out a little bit because I had the netting sitting here and it doesn't work quite as well as I would like. So we don't get super fussy. I get this rock out of here. So this is an individual clove that we've cracked off, and this is what we're going to do. We're just going to push that right in, just like that. Can't see it. It's gone. We're going to get rid of this. That doesn't need to be there. We're going to crack this apart, just like that. We're going to go into the next one and push it in. And Luna here is going to make sure I'm doing it right. She's going to inspect it. And we're just going to push it in just like that. And it's done. It's really easy, guys. You can plant garlic. You don't need 30 pounds if it's just for home. We sell a lot of garlic, so that's what we're doing. So what we're going to do is we'll get this all planted, and then before the snow flies, which is probably going to be in about 2 weeks, we're going to, I thought that was my daughter's bus. So in the next 2 weeks, we're going to get this covered in straw, nice and heavy, and that way we won't have to worry about the frost popping this up. And some people pull it back in the spring. I don't see the need for it. I like it as a weed barrier. It works really well. The garlic grows up right through it. It's one of the first things up in the spring, and I think it's great. It just seems like the wrong time. But anyways, buses. Got to make sure I get my girl off the bus. She's only 6, so I got to be there. But anyways, so that's what we've been up to. I'm just going to do this a little bit at a time. I'm hoping to get out here. After I make the pizza dough, I'm going to come back out and I'm going to try and finish planting this afternoon. But if I don't, I'll get her done probably tomorrow. We're going to do, see the chicken? She just thinks this is great. She's scratching that. She's going to move that net around on me. That's why you can see there's 2 stakes there holding it. But she's digging for worms because I've moved the soil around and she thinks it's great. So, yeah, so we're just doing a little bit at a time. And we'll get her done. So thanks for watching, and if you have any more questions about garlic, I mean, it's one of the easiest crops to grow. I promise you can grow this. If you live in New Brunswick, get yourself a hardneck garlic. We like music. It's what we grow. It's a porcelain garlic. It's really easy. Stick it in the ground, and then next summer, it's going to come up in the spring. And then next summer, about July, it's going to put up scapes, which are flowers, and we're going to cut those off. And I promise I'll do a video. I'll show you how to do that. And we're going to cut those off. And after we get those cut off, what it'll do is it'll force the energy down into the bulb, and then you'll get bulbs. We're going to fertilize this probably mid-season. Try and get nice big bulbs. They like lots of water. We're going to run drip tape in the spring to make sure we get a nice even watering, because we were really wet this spring and then it just dried up, and so our crop was kind of because we didn't have really even watering as the summer waned on. So the soil's fairly wet now. We actually had a week with rain, and we needed it. So and that's actually what allowed our beets to size up. It was so dry, our beets weren't sizing up. So that's what we're doing here. But this crop is going to be in the ground until mid-August next year. So it's a really long time to get your garlic, but it is so worth putting in a little patch of garlic. Put yourself in a 10-foot row. 6-inch spacing is what we prefer for good sized garlic. You can do it a little tighter, your bulbs will be a little smaller, depends what you want. But nothing beats your own local fresh garlic from the garden. It just tastes so much better than what you can get at the store. It's far superior, and just so much more flavor. I highly recommend it. So we'll definitely do more videos on this as the season goes on, so you'll be able to see. What I'll do is I'll pop in and I'll show you me covering it up when we do start doing the straw on it. You'll be able to see what I'm doing there. And then the chickens will dig through that as well, because straw harbors insects and they think it's great. So they'll help me spread that out, which is nice of them. So, but I'll show a video of me covering this up. We'll talk about it a little bit more. I'll probably be able to show you what I'm doing here when I get this all torn out. Maybe we'll show you some more of our barn cats that are wandering around here today. I've been tripping on cats all afternoon. They think this is fantastic. So, and we're supposed to just have fabulous weather for the rest of the week. It's Tuesday, November 1st, and it's fantastic. I think it's great. So our falls are really, they're getting a little longer. We're going a little deeper into the season with this warm weather, and I recommend taking advantage of it. So it's going to take us a little while. We're going to start putting everything to bed, and I think we'll try and bring you along with us while we do that. So thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time.